This is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid, except that it's totally not stupid. You should totally do this. Let's go. Okay, so 2 things you should already be aware of if you're not already from watching my channel. The first is, while I don't have a lot of money, I am perfectly comfortable paying for something that is a quality product. The other part of that is I also am picky about the stuff that I buy, right? I don't just willy-nilly buy gear. And that's why this one might seem a little stupid. I said it's stupid. It's totally stupid. You should absolutely not spend $40 on a bucket. Okay, so for starters, I use buckets. I use buckets a lot. I use smaller buckets for when we're in a campground going to the shower, because, you know, the floors of showers and campgrounds are always wet. So if you've got like a bag, the bag gets wet. But if you've got a plastic bucket, you can put your stuff down and nothing gets wet. So I use buckets for organizing gear. I have a tool bucket that I really love that usually travels with us. I use buckets a lot. So when I saw the Yeti Loadout 5-gallon bucket, I was like, Yeti actually does make really great products. I'm going to totally get a Yeti bucket. And then I saw the price is $40, and the buckets that I buy at a hardware store are $5 for a plastic bucket. That's, I think, what a plastic bucket should cost. $40 for a plastic bucket. And then the lid is $30. It's crazy. That's a $70 bucket. It's stupid. Don't do this. But you should totally do this. Let me quickly tell you my absolutely favorite Yeti story. So I have 2 Yeti coolers that I really like. I used my discount at REI when I worked there to buy them. And I like them because when I was teaching for REI, I went through a cooler a summer. And I finally said to my wife, I'm tired of buying a cooler every year because they fall apart by the end of the season. I'm going to buy a cooler that's going to last forever. Brace yourself. It's going to cost $300. And she was like, okay. And they're sensational. Yeti coolers were made by fishermen who were like the same as me, got tired of destroying coolers. So like, let's build a cooler that is not going to fall apart. And the coolers don't fall apart. They then drifted into insulated coffee mugs and water bottles and stuff like that. And they're all built really well, but they're all really expensive. And it is a little crazy. But my absolute favorite Yeti story is that in the Pacific Ocean, a container ship lost a container, and the container was carrying Yeti coolers, and sealed Yeti coolers float because they seal really well, and the container must have broken open, and so coolers were washing up all over the coast of Alaska, which I think is just the coolest thing. I found this photo, which I just think is the greatest thing in the world. So that's my favorite Yeti story, but let's get back to the bucket. So when I got this thing, I didn't exactly know what I was going to do with it, and it sort of meandered about. And the first thing I grabbed it for was to stand on in my kitchen as a fire alarm was going off. And my first thought was, this thing is seriously stable and strong and cool. That was the first time that I went, this is interesting. This is good. It slowly became the thing that I used to get gear from the van to the boat at the water's edge. So I used to do a couple trips or carry the boat loaded with gear, and invariably I would drop something. Now I just throw everything in the bucket and walk that down to the boat and empty the bucket and bring the boat back to the van. It's too big to go in the boat. And then when I get there, I pull my boat up to wherever I am, and I go get the bucket, and I drop my PFD, and I walk back and I unload the boat into the bucket, and it works really well for that. Yeah, I could do that with an IKEA bag, which is what a lot of people do, but I've got a Yeti bucket. So if you compare these 2 buckets, they're pretty comparable. The Yeti bucket's a little bit taller. The Yeti bucket is similarly designed, but there are some pretty nice differences. Both of these buckets are food grade. I have this vision of filling the Yeti bucket with fried chicken, even though I don't eat chicken anymore. But there are some other differences. I really like that the Yeti bucket has this sort of rubber on the bottom so it doesn't slide around quite as much. And I really like the handle, which I'll be honest, the only times I've ever thrown out a regular hardware store bucket has been because the handle breaks. I don't think this handle is ever going to break, and if it does, I'm going to send it back to Yeti and they're going to replace it. Is it wrong that it drives me crazy that this sticker is a little crooked? For $40, that sticker should be straight. Another thing about the white buckets that everyone uses is that the lids are really hard to lock into place and then really hard to get off. The lid on the Yeti Bucket works really well and seals so well they had to put a vent in it. All of those features are great things. Oh, there's one more cool thing. The Yeti Bucket is designed so that if you stack it, they don't get stuck together. If you stack multiple of the hardware store buckets together, they invariably get stuck together and are really hard to get apart. That's sort of implying that I'm going to buy more than one $40 bucket. Yeah, I don't think so. So all of those things are great. All of those are great features and great upgrades. The stackability without them getting stuck, and the handle is better, and that rubber on the bottom. And there are all sorts of great accessories that are all ridiculously expensive. There's a divider tray that sits inside of it. A buddy of mine decided that since it's all food grade, you could fill the bottom of the bucket with chips, and then that divider tray, you could have like cheese sauce and salsa and, I don't know, something else. Pickles, I guess, because I like pickles. But that's like another $30 or $40, that 3-compartment divider. And there's a tool addition for the bucket like the one that I have at home, which was way less money and works great. So all of those are great features and are absolutely not worth $40 for a bucket. So despite all this, am I making the argument that you should spend $40 on a bucket? No, I am making the argument that you should absolutely not spend $40 on a bucket. But here is what you should do. The next time someone says to you, hey, what should I get you for your birthday? What should I get you for the holidays? You tell them you want a $40 Yeti bucket. Because here's the thing. No one should ever buy themselves a $40 bucket. But it is an amazing gift, and it's how I ended up with this one. I saw that they came out with this special color, the Rescue Red color. And I think the white one is really cool. I'm not too happy with the tan one. As soon as I saw the Rescue Red, I was like, that's super cool. And I sent an email off to my kids, and I was like, hey, if you need to get me something for my birthday or for the holidays or something, I would love this red Yeti bucket. And my daughter got it for me for my birthday, which was like super cool. Yeah, so don't go buy a Yeti bucket. Have someone buy you a Yeti bucket. So I think that it's a great thing. I've now been using it for about a month and change, and it's like my go-to for, as I said, for getting gear to the boat, and it's indestructible and it looks cool. It really needs a sticker, but at the moment I'm out of stickers. Stickers will be back in the shop soon. But yeah, don't buy yourself a Yeti bucket. Make someone else buy you a Yeti bucket, and I think it's totally worth it. It's ridiculous. It should not be. It's way better than a regular bucket. Yeah, it's stupid. I told you. I started this off by saying that it was stupid. This is stupid, but you should totally get a Yeti bucket. All right, that's all I got. If you found this enjoyable, and I hope you did, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Otherwise, I'll see you on the water. If I'm getting on the water, you'll see my Yeti bucket. Yeah, see you on the water.